What's up, and welcome to the single player experience. I'm your host, Sebastion Mauldin, and in this episode, I'm talking about the indie game Soccer Story. The best way to describe Soccer Story is if you blended FIFA with Stardew Valley and then put that retro Pokemon art style over the result. It's a mixture that makes an interesting final product, to be honest. So, the reason I'm talking about this game is because I think that it's absolutely going to hit hard with a few type of gamers. Find out which types and if Soccer Story is a good single player experience right after the intro. DJ, hit the beat. This is the Single Player Experience, the podcast that helps single player gamers manage their video game backlog. I'm your host, Sebastion Mauldin, and my main quest is to help you manage your ever-growing video game backlog by letting you know which single player games are worth your time and money so that you can have the best single player experience. Now, without further ado, let's start the show. DJ, cut the beat. I've been following Soccer Story ever since I became aware of this game. I've been watching trailer after trailer of this game, and I really couldn't figure out why I was so interested until recently. Recently, I've discovered that I've always been interested in the melding of genres when it comes to sports games and RPGs. These are two video game genres that I'm fond of, and so far, I've liked the games that I've played with this mixture. Recent examples of these kind of things are games like Dodgeball Academy and Golf Story. Those are two games that I think are critically underrated, and I had a lot of fun with these games. So, the moment of truth finally came, and I finally got my hands on the game. And here are the big questions that I really had going into this. Would Soccer Story stand out in the sports RPG genre? And is it a good single player experience? And would I recommend that other people play Soccer Story? After playing the game, I have all those answers. So let's dive into it. So, for a little more background, I just want to let you know that this game was developed by Panic Farm and published by No More Robots. So, in this game, you play a Soccer Stories version of Kevin Bacon from the movie Footloose. Instead of dancing being banned, in this world, soccer is banned by an agency known as Soccer Inc. This is the result of an incident known as the Calamity. After the Calamity, Soccer Inc. closes access to every aspect of soccer in the entire world. The clubs, the Pee-wee soccer games, everything. Everything is shut down that's soccer related. So, now it's up to you to assemble a team and take down Soccer Inc. and bring back the glorious sport of soccer. So, as you can probably tell by that description, the narrative is ridiculous and leaves a lot to be desired, but it works well enough to set the tone of what you can expect with this kind of game. The writing in general leans more towards the wacky side of the pitch. For example, you see this with the weird dialogue with the people around the town, the crazy side quests that you have to do, and the Footloose style main plot. I did get some laughs at the dialogue here and there, but this tone and writing simply won't appeal to everyone. Something that is very appealing, though, is the game's art style. Visually, you can't help but to be reminded of the older Pokemon games when you look at this game, especially when you look at the game's in-menu and character sprites. The art style really took me to the glory days of trying to take down the gym leader. Honestly, it's probably the best overall aspect of the game. Let's talk about the gameplay now. The gameplay in Soccer Story is simple yet fun. It is refreshing that even though you are quote unquote the chosen one, you don't have any special set of powers or abilities. No, you're just a member of your team trying to win a quick 4-minute 4 versus 4 game of soccer. Another thing that really stood out to me is that this game is really fun despite the fact that the game's controls are relatively basic. You're just really limited to being able to run, shoot, slide, tackle, and pass. That's pretty much it. And honestly, this is where the game shines. The quick matches that are so engaging and fun. I wish that more time was spent on the pitch as opposed to interacting with the people of the town and all the little side quests. The town is fun to explore and all, but I missed playing soccer games. I wish that there was more balance between the two aspects, to be honest. In some RPGs, the game revolves around the act of grinding to get stronger, thus better. In Soccer Story, though, you simply do quests and side quests to earn money, thus improving your team's stats and skills. The skills that you can upgrade are your shooting, energy, speed, and your strength. This helps if you want to 100% the game by doing side quests. Some of these side quests can only be completed by upgrading these skills. On the other hand, though, it's nice that you can fully max out these aspects, but you honestly don't need to overcome the main story. If you upgrade a few times, you should be able to mow down the main plot of the game. I feel like that's a real plus for the people who just want to streamline the game. All that said, let's talk about one of my main flaws with the game. The side quests get old very quickly. The main reason is because most of them feel like simple fetch quests, which I get it, it's a staple of RPGs, but the games have to make you feel like you're doing something worthwhile and meaningful without making it feel like a chore. Soccer Story fails in this regard. For example, in the first couple of hours in the game, you're sent to hunt down 5 carrots, overturn 5 trash cans, and break 6 boxes. Some of these are main quests, so you couldn't even opt out of doing them. But these are examples of quests that happen very often in the game and don't really feel notable or fun. They just feel like bloated content to make the game unnecessarily longer. Quests like these are so abundant in the game that it takes away from what actually makes the game special, the game's charm and gameplay. If you can get through the first 4 hours where the game is trying to introduce all of its gameplay mechanics by making you do all these meaningless fetch quests, then you get to a really good aspect of the game. But I feel like the first 4 hours and the wave of fetch quests are going to be a huge hurdle that most people just simply aren't going to be able to overcome. It's a shame because without that aspect, I feel like there's a lot of good traits about this game. The gameplay is really fun and the game features a really dope art style. Unfortunately, the game's writing and the wave after wave of fetch quests prevent this from being the best possible game that it could have been. In this show, we practice the 10 games backlog rule. In this practice, you log down 10 games. Those games are going to be your video game backlog. To be as productive as you possibly can be, we recommend that you only play 3 games at one time. One single player narrative game, one game that's going to be your chill and relax game, and another game that's going to be your palate cleanser game, which is a game that you play when you're not in the mood for your other narrative games. When you complete or get tired of one game, it leaves the backlog list. Then you decide which new game is added to the list, and which game on the list advances to your active 3 games. So, where does Soccer Story fit in your video game backlog? Like I said earlier, I think Soccer Story is an acquired taste. I don't think this game is for everyone, but for the people I would recommend this game to are the people who like cozy RPGs, or people just that enjoyed like that mixture between RPGs and the sports games. Sort of like the games like Dodgeball Academia and A Golf Story. If you played those games and those games really spoke to you, then this game is going to be right up your alley as well. All the other type of gamers should probably skip out on this one though. So, that is the game recommendation of the week that you should consider adding to your backlog list. If you want me or my community of gamers to give you feedback on your backlog list, then join us in the Single Player Experience Discord server. Once you're in, feel free to share your video game backlog list, or talk about good single player game experiences that you've had lately. The link to join the free Single Player Experience Discord server is in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace.